Let's go to the phone lines. Let's talk about BKFC coming back to Tampa next week. It is back. And on the phone with us right now, your main eventer. How about we got a main event guy, Jarod Grant. Jarod, how are you?
Good, man. How are you guys?
Not too bad. BKFC returns to the Tampa Bay area. I'm curious, and I ask fighters this all the time. Being the main event, or being a co-main event, or being high up on the card, is there added pressure to that, or anywhere on the card is fine? Or kind of walk us through that.
I mean, so being a main event clearly is it's kind of different from a lot of people. Like, some people get really excited, some get nervous, some have a lot of pressure. Me, I'm very excited. I always like the spotlight. I always like being at the top and like everyone looking at me, and so I feel excited when I don't feel really a lot of pressure on me. I feel more of I'm just gonna put on a big show for everyone and just do my thing out there.
See, I'm going to jump in before Matt says something stupid, but, I would want to be, even though I know money is different and, the lights are, the main event, I want to be the first fight so I can get the heck out and already be home before, the midway through the card.
Oh, yeah. Some people are like that. Don't get me wrong. Waiting, the anticipation sometimes gets to you, waiting for so long and just watching all the other fights and stuff. But, no, it's for me, it's more of, it's like just like a symbol that I made it this far, like I'm getting to headline the event, so that shows that, I'm doing something right.
I've talked to fighters and some of them say that, they get nervous. And if you don't get nervous, you're not in the right spot. Other fighters have said, there's no nerves. This is what I do. Which do you fall under?
I would say more, not so much nervous, but more like the adrenaline rush. Like, I have a lot of adrenaline. I don't know if you want to categorize that as like nervous or, I have a lot of adrenaline. I have a lot of excitement. So I guess I feel like jittery and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's like in the same category as nervous, but that's what I feel.
What are you thinking? Are you thinking, as you're walking, to the squared circle, then you're in the middle of a fight, people like always ask me about the radio, the third question. I don't know the third question until you answer the first one. So are you thinking as you're walking, to the fight, and then are you thinking in the squared circle, or is it just you're flowing and wherever it goes is where it goes?
No, I mean, you're constantly thinking, from the time you're in the back of the room, from the time you walk out to the ring, you're thinking like of all the scenarios of what could go down. I'm a thinker, like when I'm thinking of of a bunch of scenarios, what happens if he does this, what am I going to do after that? And sometimes I just go in there and, I flow with the fight, whatever, I react to whatever my opponent does. So I guess you could say I kind of flow with it too while I'm thinking.
So Jarod, going back to the anticipation part and waiting, on May 16th, you guys announced the birth of an upcoming baby. So does that change anything in your training and your thoughts, like the way you approach this fight? Do you hold back at all, or do you train more intense because you're working on legacy now?
Oh, no. I train just as hard, if not harder. It's more motivation for me. Clearly, the money plays a factor into it, and just my legacy as well. I'm having my firstborn son, and that right there is going to be an awesome feeling for, my son to go say my dad was or is, a world champion, So that plays a big factor. That still makes me train at just as hard as I do for any other fight.
Give us your thoughts on your opponent, Reggie Pena Jr.
Excuse me? Repeat that one more time.
I said, give me your thoughts on your opponent, Reggie.
My thoughts. I think he's a good guy. He hasn't said anything disrespectful towards me. So I have nothing bad to say about him. Do I think he's on my level of skills? No, I don't. I don't think he has my heart. I don't think he hits as hard as me. And I don't think he's as fast as me. My youth, I'm younger than him. I'm younger by 10 plus years. I think I just have everything he doesn't have, in there to beat him. So.
For fans that are tuning in, and again, we've been promoting BKFC since the original one in Wyoming. It's one of my passions, being involved. Everything that David Feldman and his entire team have put together. But talk to the fans of the show, the national fans that may not be familiar with BKFC. Give them a 30-second on your thoughts of basically fighting bare knuckle.
Bare knuckle is one of the purest sports out right now. It's one of the fastest growing sports right now. You see all the famous celebrities, all the famous UFC fighters getting into it now, and that says a lot. You know, the stadiums get filled up, tickets sell out. It's one of the bloodiest, most fast-paced action sports out there right now. You know, it's not boring. There's no boring fights. You get fast-paced action. It's one of the, I mean, personally to me, one of the most intense action-packed sports there. So, I mean, you can't go wrong with it. Watching it, getting into it, anything.
I agree with you 100%. I appreciate your time. I know that we're going to have you back on next week when you and the rest of the card come to Tampa. Looking forward to hanging out. I know we have your address. We're going to send you a care package from 8 Man Strong of some swag for coming on, as well as a box of Odd Socks from Odd Sock Official, as well as some food from Right Trek. And I want to thank you for your time, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, man. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it.
We'll see you next week. Jarod Grant, your champ.
Got it.
And in the main event next week. We do have some tickets to give away.
Yes, we do.
We will do that. But first we have to hit this break. And then another Usman comes on when we return. He was victorious last night, yes, months ago, but Muhammad Usman when we return. This is Knockout Radio, brought to you by 8 Man Strong and Staff Zone. We'll be right back.